to this preview of the German Bundesliga, which is at least one day late, but I felt obliged. But I'm a bit ill, I have to say, so I apologize. And I hope, I can still show you a few things. Could be interesting for the German Bundesliga. It's about to start. Well, first of all, as I've done for the second Bundesliga now, I've taken down the bets more or less, or the proposals. As you see here, I proposed the over. I did it to myself, if you want. So I mean, this I've done before today, but you don't need to try to believe me. Anyway, as I show here, the true price for Bayern over is 1.87, and there was only 1.83 at market. There may have been better prices. This is some price I've taken down before. Anyway, true price in the old system is 1.87, so it was not even really indicated. Still, I've highlighted it here, but this could have done at any point. Anyway, this was okay, and the other things, well, what I would like to show to you, I mean, we have there are a couple of things I'm doing here. Let's stick to this here for now. And you don't need to see me, I know. But the thing is, when a new season starts, I have to initialize all the leagues. This is there are a couple of parameters that have to be set, and I have to reset certain teams, or I have to adjust things. There are a couple of things to do, so I could not just run it. Well, we have the promoted teams anyway, and I have to do the to norm that. What is the word for that? So they come up to average altogether. There are teams above average, there are some below average, and so on, and that had to be norm, but I don't know if this is the word for it. So anyway, there are adjustments to be made, and I have, as I was trying to explain, the old system and the new system. If we would like to, look at this here. This is the old system. It has been running for years. I can't make that bigger, but this is going pretty reliable. I can go here to the rankings. You see, I reset the home advantage to an average value, because it just makes no sense to carry that forward, what they did in previous seasons. There had been some exceptions, but it's nowadays it's not the case anymore. And we have Bayern still clearly on top and Dortmund second. This is not much of a change to what it had been last season, right? I didn't do a lot here. Some small adjustments. Maybe Leipzig, yeah, they could be on the level of Dortmund, but, well, usually market would say no, this is more Dortmund. Leverkusen, they lost Julian Brandt, and, well, I'm not so sure. It's not a bad side, but maybe not as good as some others think, or maybe not as good as how they finished last season. Of course, anyone can argue about that, but it leads to these prices, right? Hoffenheim, they lost a couple of players. They might get some new players in now because they got a lot of money. And I heard about a transfer already yesterday. So in Frankfurt lost a couple of good players, but as they said, Jovic may even come back on loan. I don't know. maybe just rumors. Köln are solid after promotion. Union, Augsburg, Paderborn. Well, here you can never be this sure. They usually deserve some bonus, and Augsburg down here. Düsseldorf, for example, should be a bit lower than they were because they lost Luke Bacchio, but also they most likely, well, you wouldn't expect them to be able to repeat what they've done last season. And but this leads to these prices, and this is more or less it's very close to market. If I still find some bets, this is somewhat interesting because what market is a bit. Well, first of all, we can check here. I've done this with the old system here, up here, and I've done it with the new system because the initialization of the new system is a bit similar, but it's not quite the same. There are some, I got more parameters there, and you can say it's a bit more touchy, or it's a bit different. But still, I'm quite pleased to see some differences between these. I mean, I'm happy if they are the same, but I'm also happy if there are differences. Because it's a different approach. So I'm more or less controlling myself. I'm checking with these two systems. And what happens here is it turned out that the new system finds a little more goals, you can say. And I checked that, and there had been so much more action in last season. This is in goal attempts, you can say, more or less, because any corner or also any shot on off target or any cross coming in is more or less goal mouth action. And there had been so much more, and the conversion rate and so on. Everything is a bit complex. But if it finds a little more goals even, I'm pleased. I mean, here we also have Bayern and Dortmund at home, which contributes to that. If they play away, it could be pretty regular again. But what is regular? Last season we had 3.179. Of course, I can show this to you, but maybe you believe me. 3.179. And what is curious a bit is that market is a bit lower on these goals. It had been already in Bundesliga 2, which I was surprised by, but actually the overs had been quite okay that I've gone for. But in general, it just had been goals again. I mean, we can check that. Bundesliga 2, for example, though, so you can instantly see a result. I was expecting 2.889, which was already above market's settings for some reason. I have no idea what market had different there, but this was pretty okay compared with last season as well. But 3.15 is the goal average that occurred, so you can also argue a bit, well, season start, maybe some more goals, better weather and better atmosphere because fans are happy and no one is expecting too much. They don't, they do not have bad results yet, so they are not. So they play a bit more freely or something like that. And it happened, but in the long run, it's just a minor point, but you would still agree to that if you say, well, why not some more goals? So this is what happens here in the end. I do not understand it. I did not understand it in Bundesliga 2, and I also do not understand it for Bundesliga 1. As you see here, the new system liked the over already by quite a bit, and actually the old system was not really against it because you can say more or less this is true price. I mean, you're not forced to do that, but if anything, you could say, well, why not an over? Especially we had this Luke Bacchio last season scoring 3 goals there, and he's now went to Hertha, and now he scored again, whereby this was a deflected shot, and things could have gone very different. But also we have here in Werder Düsseldorf an over. In this case, even the new system is a bit more pessimistic about the goals, but still likes the over. and in Freiburg-Mainz, they both like the over. This is, of course, the one where you would say, well, these two, okay, they are eye level, and, well, maybe they start a bit more carefully. But I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so in general, because first match day anyway, and in Freiburg, there's always some nice atmosphere, and the supporters are never expecting too much, but they still, well, the team can't disappoint really. So they can just play football. So, but here you could argue, but the line is also lower, right? Why not 3 goals? I mean, well, anyway. In Dortmund, Augsburg, both like the over. In Wolfsburg, Köln, they also both like the over. Here I have to admit, as it's also just barely indicated, even in the new system, you could say, well, teams that are promoted, you can't be so sure, right? Where do you take the settings from? Because I can't take the settings from Bundesliga 2, because it's just silly, because it's a different league. There are different parameters, so I have to promote them there as well to Bundesliga standard, and not to standard, but somewhat below standard. But it could be that they are, well, we will see. But this is the general approach I would stick to. I set them to this kind of Bundesliga standard, and I would never come to the conclusion that they are an underside. Especially not in the new league. If they were in the Bundesliga 2, which they weren't, but if they were, they wouldn't carry that forward. Why? It's a different league. It's a new season. Everything is new, also with the players. But also in the Bundesliga 2, they were expected to win promotion. Now they hope to avoid relegation. It's a different approach in every game. So you can't take anything from that, from last season. I don't know if market does that, but in general it's a bit too low. If you see these bets on the sites here, Werder Bremen, I would say this is based on, I like Werder. It was also, I was impressed by that 6-1 win in Delmenhorst, which was a home game for them. But it doesn't matter that much. But if I watch such a game and I see such nice football, and I see those players, and they may have lost the top Max Kruse there, but they still are a very, very decent side. But it's not based on Werder. It's based on Düsseldorf being a bit lower. Market usually they just say, well, they had been there, they didn't change much, so they stay there, which is not quite the case. We have the second year, which is always the more difficult one for plenty of reasons, so it's not just the same, and so they are just right. So it's based on Düsseldorf being a bit weaker, as I would say. If I take Paderborn, it's, well, of course these lines, they are hard to beat, because they are not playing for your money. When they are losing by a goal, you think, okay, I'm happy, I would be winning. They open up, they concede a second, you lose. You say, well, why did you go forward? Well, we would have lost. Otherwise, they would say, well, so it didn't matter, the second goal. We conceded. So, you know, it's not a pleasant, really a pleasant choice, right? And so as soon as the line exceeds 1 goal, I do not really like it that much, and well, I still took it down here. I think it's based on Paderborn being okay with that small bonus for being promoted, and they won't step back. They will just play their kind of football. Maybe it will backfire, of course, but they wouldn't mind. But they can also trouble any defensive, because they just go forward. You saw that Hertha did have their chances against Bayern. Here or there, and why wouldn't they be able to score a goal? I mean, Paderborn even more than Hertha. But anyway, it's not a great one. If I take Dortmund, it's or propose here Dortmund. This is based on Augsburg being weak, but I accept market assessments. But I wouldn't really think that Dortmund are really able to repeat what they've done last year. So it's a bit, and here we also have the true old 180, so I could easily skip that one. And it's another one such line, minus 1.75. If you say now, well, the reciprocal is true from what is true when you take Paderborn. They go forward, they concede the second. You could say, well, Augsburg are doing the same. Well, here the opposite could hurt you, which is Dortmund may have a counter-attack, the attack to score the second, which you needed, but they just stop the ball. They go to the corner flag or something like that, and you say, well, why aren't you scoring a second goal? I would win my money then. Or something, and they would argue, well, a one-goal win is a win as well, so why would we need to hustle here? Or something like that, right? So in any case, these lines are uncomfortable, and I'm not quite coming to terms with them. It's always difficult, but of course in any game it can happen in the end that this second goal either it comes or it doesn't, or even the others find the equalizer or something like that. But you always feel uncomfortable, that's all I can say, because you know they wouldn't need it for your money, the others wouldn't need to defend it for your money. The one goal loss, the others wouldn't need to a second goal for a clear win. They would still try usually, because there's no bribing, there's no fraud, something like that. Okay, so for the other games, what can I say? Freiburg-Mainz, I more or less agree with Market. Market may be a bit higher here, so we could think about Freiburg maybe. In Wolfsburg-Köln, I think Market is close, 175, something like that, so I'm even a bit. But here I would say no way to go with Wolfsburg. Also in view of their cup effort, which wasn't that great. 2-2, I think, was it extra time, something like that. No, they won 5-3 after extra time, something like that, up against the lower league. But anyway, no big difference. In Gladbach, we could think about Gladbach because I wouldn't trust Schalke so much. I mean, this is for years now. Now they have again trouble with their what is it, director? What do you call him? Tennis, and they wanted him to retire, which he didn't, and he said some silly things. But they always have trouble. And David Wagner, new coach, very good coach. I wouldn't say anything different. But it's such a big club, and you can always you're tiptoeing through the tulips. What is I don't know. It's always some danger that you take one step wrong and you fall over. And in Gladbach, it's pretty solid, I would say. It sounds fine, but I'm not a fan of neither club. Not in general, would be silly, but I would prefer to stay away. That's why I didn't put anything here. But if anything, it would be Gladbach. In Frankfurt, Hoffenheim, yeah, no, nothing, no. Union, I agree simply with Market. Hoffenheim, the slightly better side maybe, but there's no big difference to Market. And here in Union Leipzig, I wouldn't know. But they are a bit angry that they instantly, this is more or less the derby. Because if you find two clubs from the East, former East, from the new Bundesländer, neuen Bundesländer, it's these two. And why would they pair them in the first round? But this is silly to complain about. Anyway, I hope you can take something from that. I'm not sure about the format I'm going to use this year. Of course, I'm trying to provide you with something useful, and we will check that. It was okay with Bundesliga 2. I can't do that now. No, I should do another video, and also it started already. Maybe I will focus a bit more on these two leagues in the future. But for now, okay, thanks a lot for watching, and bye-bye, see you. And I will be back on Monday with a review, I hope. Okay, thank you, bye.